Hello and welcome to another episode of UA's Double Overtime. I'm Connor Delaney.
And I'm Victor Weberman.
Vic, we got a fun show ahead. We're going to start off with MLB playoffs first and foremost. Yankees Tigers. Let's talk Yankee baseball right now. What do you have for me?
I don't know what's going on with these Yankees, folks. Can someone tell me why Curtis Granderson, Alex Rodriguez, and Robinson Cano are all batting under 150? I have no answers. I have no idea what's going on. A-Rod's being benched. Granderson was going to be benched last night if the game wasn't delayed and postponed.
Is there any chance of a comeback for our beloved Yankees?
Look, if there's anybody who knows how to come back from a 3-0 deficit, it's the Yankees, who themselves have given it up. The only team to ever give up a 3-0 deficit. They have a shot. At the end of the day, they are the Yankees.
They are the Yankees. They have a shot. They need to produce some runs. They need to get runs across the plate.
Because the pitching's been great.
It's been very well, but when you're scoring your only runs in the 9th inning, and you're getting shut out up until then, and you have guys, Verlander, I can understand. He's in a league of his own as far as pitching in the postseason. But when you're facing these guys, you can't be leaving it to the last inning to finally start to get a rally going. You got to get the runs going, and you got guys like you mentioned. A-Rod is. Who knows what his deal is? Taking phone numbers.
Taking phone numbers. Well, we'll get to A-Rod in a couple of minutes specifically, but I mean. I don't know what's going on. It seems like last series, all the energy was there and everything. It felt like they really had a shot at the Tigers. And now
you have your best pitcher in Sabathia going tonight, who I think will, as your ace, as your horse, will go in and get the W, and we won't get swept. Then you have one more game in Detroit, and you have Andy Pettitte on the mound, which, in my opinion, there's no other pitcher on that roster I'd rather have pitching in Detroit for one last time.
Got the experience.
Got the experience in a Game 5 other than Andy Pettitte.
But I have a question. You think the Tigers are that good? Or is it? I understand
they're a great
going to a big slump.
I think Tigers, they're a great.
And let's give them credit because they have been great.
They have great bats. I mean, their pitching's been phenomenal.
But are they this good?
They're not. The Yankees,
good?
Not to sweep this Yankee team. The Yankee team. I mean, that bloated Jeter breaking his ankle is huge, but this Yankee team is much better than they are performing right now. I mean, you saw their bats all season long, and now it seems like Cano's 1 for 30. He got his first hit the other night in the top of the 9th. He was 0 for 29 before that. You can't have guys like that in your 4 spot going 0 for 29. You can't do it. And then to have guys like Taffoul, Teixeira's been hitting all right, but like you said, A-Rod got benched. He's not playing today, and he came out with a statement yesterday. He says, any lineup that I'm in is a better lineup, which I understand benching him, but at the same time, he is Alex Rodriguez. He is getting paid the money he's getting paid.
Joe Girardi's got to do it all he can. You can't sit around because if someone says I was thinking if at the end of the series, I was thinking benching A-Rod, well, why didn't you do it? Girardi's a guy who makes these moves. That's just like the time when he had Ibanez pinch hit. That worked out.
That was huge.
Who knows?
Maybe
if he benches A-Rod again and Granderson, maybe they get a win.
But I think benching A-Rod for that Ibanez pinch hit that one time was huge, and that was a great move by Girardi. But to have you got to put faith, and you got to have that confidence in your star player like A-Rod, and rather than bench him, what is that going to do for his confidence?
More put faith in that $200 million contract.
I mean, he's getting paid. I mean, worst case scenario, he doesn't perform, and then everyone just hates him, equally or more than they already do. So really, you can't. It's a win-win. You play him, and hopefully he does well and plays like the player he can be. What did Kobe come out and say about the difference between A-Rod and I is that I know I'm the best at what I do,
right.
Where A-Rod, he just has to have that confidence.
I think there's a difference, though, especially because every time it comes back to A-Rod, it comes back to a money issue.
The guy's getting paid, and he's not. He's getting paid to play baseball and perform and produce.
And this
runs.
Is what the Yankees do. They throw the dollars at you, and you got to play. You're out.
What incentive do you have to be the best player when you're getting paid that type of money? I mean, what? It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous amount of money he's making. I don't agree with the money that the Yankees are paying him.
I don't think a lot of people agree with any of the money that these guys.
Any athletic player deserves that much money, at all. But
look, all the money aside, I don't know what's going on. But let's get more specifically into Alex Rodriguez. Granted, Curtis Granderson, Robinson Cano, guys who are in the heart of the order aren't doing as well. But A-Rod has a history of not doing well in the postseason. With the exception of the 2009 season, what do you think it is? Do you think he's not a postseason guy? You think he's a number. There's some guys who do better in the regular season than the postseason.
He's a guy that when it's 2-1 bottom of the 9th and you have runners on, he's going to strike out. But when it's a 13-1 game, he's going to hit a home run. I feel like when he has that pressure, it's just something. it's a mind game. It's a mind game. These players, if you're clutch, it's something that you want to step up, you want to be at the plate, and you want to be that guy to go ahead and be that leader and win a game. But when you're, when you have that doubt, slight doubt whatsoever in your head, which I feel like A-Rod has when he steps up to the plate in those clutch defining moments, he lets the moment define him rather than, and he just doesn't.
And all of a sudden, as the media was swarming last night, a rumor is going around that A-Rod will be traded to the Marlins. For something to come up at a time like this,
let's get some guys like Mike Stanton out of this.
I think this is the best thing that could have happened. Let this be a distraction rather than everyone keep focusing on the hitting. And now something about him taking a woman's phone number. I don't know what is going on with Alex Rodriguez. I want to get inside his head and say, what's going on, guys? What's happening? Why is our
A-Rod's always been a head case. He's always been that, not like a head case like a Ron Artest or Meta World Peace, excuse me. But like he's always had like that spotlight.
He's never figured himself out.
Where Jeter has handled that New York media and that spotlight so well. A-Rod's the complete opposite, where it's not like he gets himself in these situations and then he digs himself even deeper with the comments he makes and the things he does, as opposed to handling them in a way where he doesn't get as much.
A-Rod has been great for the Yankees. They've won a World Series. I think maybe, I'm not saying to part ways with the guy. This is a guy, he's a proven guy, but how can you keep paying a guy this much money and it's not doing anything? I think maybe if they make a trade, I don't even know what they should do with this guy.
I'm looking forward to Game 4 tonight. I think CC's going to come out. He's going to get on the mound, and he's going to pitch. He's going to do what he needs to do. We're going to go into Game 5. One more game in Detroit. Hopefully, Andy Pettitte. We can get one more final good start out of Pettitte in this series. But let's move on from talking Yankees, ALCS, and we're going to the NLCS. Giants, Cardinals, and right now Cardinals are up 2-1. Vic, they got a win last night. What do you make of that series and how it's playing out so far?
I think it's a great series. I think because a lot of people thought both of these teams were not going to be in the center. I certainly didn't pick them.
And why do you think people thought that? Especially because these two teams, and looking back in the last 3 years, they both.
I'm going to be honest. Nationals blew it. The Nationals had it in the bag.
The funny part is, I turned that game off in like the 6th inning.
You know what's funny is that the Cardinals. This is what the Cardinals do. They did it last year when everyone thought bottom of the 9th. They had a double, and then they did it again. What happened in the extra innings? They went down, and they came back. There's something about this specific Cardinals team that I really like.
I love the Cardinals just facing the adversity they had all season with losing the best player.
Yeah,
in
this
baseball.
is without Pujols, and they're still doing it.
And Tony La Russa, arguably one of the greatest managers of the past decade. I mean, he's been there.
I love Mike Matheny. I think he was a great choice.
He's a great choice.
One of those homegrown guys.
Exactly. He's been through the system.
I think that's what you need. And look,
rather than bring someone else
I think
in.
the Cardinals figured out. Granted, it's only 2-1. They're facing Lincecum in the next game. I'm a big fan of Lincecum, but right now I don't know what you're going to get out of him. He's been so inconsistent, and
no, you're right.
It's been a mystery.
The Giants' big problem last night was runners in scoring position. 0 for 7. You had Brandon Belt, Hunter Pence. They had opportunities to
right now for 3 games. The Giants only have one person hitting above 290.
This is a pitching matchup. This is a pitching series where they all have phenomenal pitching in both. I like Lincecum. I think they're going to even it up just because he is the freak.
I think the bats are going to start going. Pablo Sandoval is going to start getting some hits. Buster Posey as well. It's going to be a wild finish. I think this might go 6-7 games.
You think so?
I really think so.
I think it'll go 7. I think this series has the potential to go 7. Just because
Beltran is apparently injured right now, so let's wait to hear what's going on with that.
He is hurt right now. I don't know. Who do you like in this series? If you had to pick a,
I think I'm going to take the Cardinals. I think they've proven that they can handle the toughest of situations, and I don't see anything stopping them. I think they're going to take it all the way to the World Series.
I like that Cardinals.
I'd like to see a matchup again with St. Louis and Detroit. That'd be interesting.
Why would you like to see the St. Louis-Detroit?
I wouldn't like to see it, but
we want to see a Yankees and whoever matchup.
That the Yankees don't come back.
I like the Cardinals last night because, one, there was that delay, and that bullpen got, they went to that bullpen quite early, and they really, to have a bullpen perform like they performed last night and only let up that 1 run was really, it shows a lot, and the Cardinals have that. Jason Mott's probably, he did it last year when they won the World Series, and he's a phenomenal closer. I have to agree with you. I have to go with the Cardinals. I think San Francisco, they'll fight. I mean, they'll fight. They're a good team. They have the experience.
I think it can go either way, but I think St. Louis got a little bit of edge that gives them the motivation. But I think we've talked enough baseball for now. We're going to talk about the NBA. We're so close to that regular season. We're all excited for it. But the latest news is Kevin Love, power forward of the Minnesota Timberwolves, is down with a broken hand. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Is this going to impact? And we know the Timberwolves aren't the greatest team, Connor, but you take a guy like Kevin Love, a guy who's giving you 20 and 20, or it seems like 20 and 20, 40 and 30, 30, whatever he's doing. He's getting tons of rebounds every game. Is this even going to put the Wolves in a worse hole than they already are?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you're losing your best player and your only, all-star. I mean, the Wolves have potential to be a good team. They have young talent in a few years. I mean, I don't see them, breaking out of their shell anytime soon and being a contender. But with a guy like Kevin Love,
just as they were getting younger and they were trying to build,
and with a guy like Kevin Love, a guy that build around it. If you can, he's top 5 big man in the league as far as.
Now, here's my next question: from a guy who does produce these crazy numbers, he went on that crazy streak of it was 20 points, 10 whatever it was. You think he'll be the same kind of Kevin Love? You think he'll be able to jump right back into it, grab those rebounds the same way he always did? Or you think there's going to be some lingering effect? No. It is a broken hand.
No, I mean, with the treatment, the medical teams these guys have, Kevin Love is going to come out. He's going to get his rest. He's going to get healed up. It's interesting seeing guys come off injuries, especially in basketball, and see how they play. I'm curious about Derrick Rose and seeing how he's going to be with Chicago.
It's something about these injuries that either happen in the off season and then they take you out for the first few games.
And they carry over.
And Monte Ellis and they riding a bike. It's very interesting to see because especially because there's 82 games. Baseball it's 162, and the NFL it's even less. So I think there's always something about injuries. And when players start to get old, they start to get injured. I think it comes down to a mental thing. I think these guys are always ready. I think it's always a mental thing. I think he's going to be able to get right back in it.
I never thought Kevin Love was going to be this player out of UCLA.
I don't think a lot of people did.
I did not expect him to
be. But everybody loves it.
30.
Everyone loves love. Everyone wants some love.
Everyone wants some love.
I know I do.
But I mean, seriously though, I mean, to have the company he's had, like Hakeem Olajuwon, and to have that company 30-30, it stinks because just to have a player like Kevin Love out of the game for 6 to 8 weeks. I love watching him play. I love him sitting out there. He posts up at the three-point line and knocks down.
He does everything.
2 threes, and then he'll go down low and get 5 straight rebounds and beast on someone in the paint. So he really is probably one of the most all-around players in the NBA as far as shooting, scoring, and defensive rebounding goes like that. I mean, I don't know. I think in my opinion he makes my list for. He cuts into my top 5 for
big men.
Big men.
Yeah.
I think
when you add the 3-point shot, it adds something else. This is someone who's on Team USA, and Mike Krzyzewski said that there's something different about this guy, Kevin Love.
But we're gonna stop talking Kevin Love there. There's not enough love to go around right now, so we're gonna switch from NBA. We're gonna go into college football, and we're gonna talk a little SEC, the number 1 conference in football. We're talking Florida and South Carolina. So Vic, what do you first make of the SEC in general, and then this matchup?
Well, the SEC's, 3 teams in the top 10. We got the Gators, we got South Carolina, we got LSU. Florida is riding hot right now. This is the first time they're back in the top 3 since I think that last run they had at the title back in 2007.
Don't forget Alabama.
All right, I'm not forgetting Alabama either. I did leave them out. There's some Alabama.
The number 1.
I'd like to see them go against the Gators in the SEC championship. I think this is one of the biggest games for the Gators in the past 5 years. This game is at home in the Swamp against South Carolina, who's just coming off a loss to LSU. When I really thought they weren't going to lose either.
That's the thing with this division; it goes back and forth so often. I mean,
people always say there's something different about SEC football. It's not like anything else. And if you put one of these teams in the ACC or the Big 12, they just wreck them.
I think this year again we'll have another BCS SEC national championship game. I mean, between either Florida or Alabama.
Nice to see a Florida-Bama matchup.
That or LSU even. I mean, Alabama had the 1 loss last year to LSU, and they still made it to the BCS.
Right.
So I mean, I think the winner, obviously the winner of the SEC championship goes to the BCS, and then even whatever team between South Carolina, Florida, LSU again. I mean, I
think when you take that offense that Florida's got, Jeff Driscoll, who first of all needs to stay a little bit in the pocket, I think, but is getting the job done. You've got Gillislee coming out of the backfield. This is a team that has a lot of weapons. They like to do a lot of different schemes. Will Muschamp is a very, very creative guy.
I look at Florida, I look at South Carolina, and I see those high-powered offense between in South Carolina, Connor Shaw and Lattimore, and then I look at Alabama, and they just have that phenomenal defense.
Right. And Florida's got the good defense too. Only allowing about 12 points a game, which is top 5, top 10 in the NCAA. I think the key for South Carolina, Marcus Lattimore is hurt right now. That is their horse. That is their go-to guy. I think of him as like the equivalent to like an Adrian Peterson. When he's down, you are losing so much of that offense. So he's got to get healthy if they want to win this game.
Who do you who do you have SEC winning? If you could pick one team out of the SEC right now, who do you pick?
As my dad would say, go Gators. I love this team. I love what they're doing. My dad's a Gators fan. I got to go with the Gators.
I agree, just because I got to say Alabama, but at the same time, the Gators have played better competition than Alabama this far.
I think this is.
Well, you talk points against. I mean, Alabama 7.5 points a game. They're number one in the nation. I mean, that's.
Remember that game? What was that game at LSU? It was like 9-3 last year.
Let up one touchdown a game for
very impressive. Granted, they haven't played. I think this is the defining moment for the Gators. If they win this game, it's going to be very hard to stop them.
I agree. I 100% agree. That wraps up our first half here. So we're going to go into a break. We're going to come back to our second half, and stay tuned.
Here at UA Overtime, we talk sports, but that's not the only thing we talk about.
Ow now, brown cow. Cool headset, though.
Stop.
UA Overtime, you Albany's leader in sports.
Welcome back. We're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to talk a little bit about Lance Armstrong, and then we're going to jump into our big finish. NFL. Connor, let's first talk about the AFC East. You love the Bills. I love the Jets. Jets have a huge game this weekend. They're all at 3-3. After this weekend, who do you think is going to be sitting atop that AFC East?
Buffalo Bills.
Of course.
Right? Well, I mean, what do I say? Want to tell you the Jets? Because they're going to lose to New England.
Hey, look, I'm very concerned about the Jets. The game is in Foxborough, so I'm not too sure about their chances.
They're an ugly 3-3. They are an ugly 3-3.
I will give you that. It has not looked pretty.
As is Buffalo. Buffalo is 3-3 out of a little.
But now that Miami's 3-3, we thought the Finns were going to drop. Maybe it was going to be.
Ryan Tannehill.
It looked like only two of these teams were going to be good, and the other two were going to be at the bottom of the barrel. So now they're all at 3-3. It's going to be a very interesting finish.
It's going to be a good division to watch.
But the Bills have beaten the Patriots, and the Jets have beaten the Bills, and the Dolphins have beaten.
I mean, obviously the favorite is the Patriots. And
I can agree with that.
They're in the Super Bowl last year, but I think the Bills. Watch out for the Bills. I'm saying if they get everything clicking, C.J. Spiller, and they get that defense, the defense needs to shape up big time. Mario Williams. Speaking of paying someone money, Mario Williams, biggest free agent signing the Bills have ever had, and he's kind of playing like not so much of an all-pro defensive end that he is. But
do you think the Jets have any more of a confidence after last week, or you think it's just?
I think they should. I mean, they have every reason to have confidence. They're a good football team. They have a solid defense. They need a receiver. They need some receivers.
That's true.
They need something.
I think they're lacking in the weapons. And that's what it comes down to.
AFC East, that's pretty easy as far as Jets, Bills. But let's talk about the Ravens and Ray Lewis. Obviously, torn biceps. He's out for the season, if not maybe his career, and breaks my heart. Ray Lewis is my favorite defensive player of all time to ever play the game. I love the enthusiasm it brings, the type of player and captain he is, and that's what kind of loss is this for the Ravens?
It's a huge loss. The last week I preached on these linebackers, the central guys. These are the guys.
Brian Cushing, yeah.
Right. These are the guys who command that defense. It's sort of like the quarterback.
Especially a guy like Ray Lewis, who's out there in the middle and mic'd up.
And now Ed Reed he's saying a torn labrum has been affecting his play. You think? Like what are these guys doing?
It breaks my heart to see Ray Lewis. And Ed Reed, obviously,
Ed Reed also.
He's another cornerstone of that defense, that Baltimore defense. But it's going to be a tough. I mean, Terrell Suggs is already out. That defense, Haloti Ngata got hurt last week too.
All I have to say is there's got to be someone else who's stepping up in that locker room because
without,
Ray Lewis is still going to be giving those pregame speeches,
but he can't be
on the field.
He's the voice of that locker room.
And speaking of the Ravens, they have a huge match. We got a couple of big marquee matchups this weekend. First, we're going to talk Texans-Ravens, both at 5-1 at top of the AFC. You think whoever wins this game is going to be the outright number one?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a huge game. Texans coming off a loss to the Green Bay, which I called last week. Just wanted to throw that out there. I called Green Bay getting that W.
Rodgers playing like Superman out there.
Hey, playing how Aaron Rodgers can play football. That's how, if he plays like that. But anyways, back to the matchup of Baltimore and Texans. It's a huge game for both teams. One, Baltimore being that they're without Ray Lewis and they have those injuries.
Possibly Ed Reed now.
And to see how they adapt to those changes and see how they perform. And Houston coming off that huge loss by the Packers and see how they bounce back from that and whether they can.
Houston's got to get fired up. I think it was a bit of a wake-up call. I think Arian Foster's. This is the time he's got to take over and be that leader, not just on the field, in the locker room, everything.
I take Ravens. Ray Lewis will be there in heart. He'll be there on the sidelines. He'll get them all pumped up. But let's move into the NFC matchup of the week with the Seahawks-Niners, both 4-2. Seahawks a surprise team this year. What do you make of that matchup?
I think it's I think San Francisco needs. I said
number one
they
team.
were gonna right. I said they're number one team.
Run the board,
making me look a little foolish. People love this Seattle team, and I can't help it.
How can you not?
I can't help but agree. They're coming off a huge win against New England.
Russell Wilson,
the second they hired Pete Carroll, I knew this was going to be a completely different team.
We love them because they beat New England.
Of course we do.
I mean, that's a huge win.
I think Russell Wilson's starting to adjust to the NFL.
He's not a bad quarterback there. Pete Carroll, he's got a good system there. I really think the Seahawks for real. That defense playing in Seattle is that's the 12th man. The stadium.
Let's just say this is a huge game for both teams.
Huge game for both teams, especially the Niners getting smacked by the Giants.
Smacked. Absolutely.
But well, one more topic. We're going to go on our big finish. But before the big finish, we're going to talk Lance Armstrong and Nike. The endorsements with Nike are over. And Vic, what do you make of this? And how do you feel about Nike releasing Lance Armstrong?
I think it was inevitable. Anytime there's something happens like this, whether it's a steroid issue, it's a lawsuit, whatever it is, people, and companies don't want to risk their image, and why should they? And I completely understand. Now you're going to put on the Livestrong bracelet. Look, more power to you.
Put the Livestrong on for Lance Armstrong here. I think forget a bike race. I don't care about a bike race. I really don't. I don't find it exciting. People on bikes riding around.
That's what made his story so great.
And that's what made his story so great. But it's about this, and he's helped out over, for
I
people who
don't think that's what Nike's doing.
Of course not.
I think
of course not.
At the end of the day, we always say it's about a business. It's a business decision.
Absolutely. Just like of course. I mean, the guy came out and got tested for performance-enhancing drugs. But big picture, I mean, it's the bike race and him winning 7 straight Tour de France is what made him as popular and as to be able to do something like a Livestrong Foundation and make it as successful as it was. But at the end of the day, for me, when people hear the word cancer, it really scares them, and he's helped take that fear away out of 2.5 million people with his foundation and stuff like that.
And I think now his focus is going to be all on Livestrong, all about getting his image better because that's what he's got to do.
And that's what
You've seen this with players before.
I agree.
And this is the time.
I agree. Like I said, personally, it stinks. But and to have us looking at cycling and a sport like that, I feel like everyone out there is coming out with some type of case against them where they are doping in one way or another, whether it's taking some type of performance-enhancing drug.
I just hope this isn't how we remember Lance Armstrong. Just the same way anybody else who's ever
faced adversity. I think he'll overcome it and stuff. But let's move on, Vic, to our big finish. Why don't you go ahead and lead us off here? What do you got?
Rutgers football team is 6-0. Connor, how long is this going to last? Rutgers, we're talking here.
I think it'll last a little bit. They're a good team, solid team, but I don't know. Maybe 2 more games. 2 more games.
Love to see another run.
Florida State and Miami. Who do you have?
Got to go with the Canes, baby.
Hurricanes all day.
Oregon, ASU. Oregon's on the road.
I gotta go Oregon. That offense is too.
Going with the upset. Arizona State.
All right. Cardinals, Vikings. Who do you have?
Taking Vikings. AP, AD.
AP, AD. I can't agree more. NHL. Will the season happen this year?
I hope to God it does, because Lord knows I want to see those Rangers again. Come on. We got Cards, Giants, Game 4. Who are you taking?
Got to go Giants. Going to even it up 2-2.
I think the Giants will win this one. Linscomb's got to.
And last but not least, A-Rod. Does he play tonight? What are the chances he gets off that bench?
I think he's going to be sitting on that pine all night.
He'll be riding the pine.
I don't think so.
Riding the pine.
Mike, why don't you tell us what we missed?
Connor, the Kobe Bryant quote was, I think really the difference is sometimes he forgets he's the best, where I don't. That's it for the errors. Catch you later if you give me a good pass.
Well, thanks for that, Mike. It's always a pleasure to hear where we mess up, where we get wrong.
Where I messed up.
That's why we've got him.
Kobe, he's not the best.
Give me a break.
Kobe's not the. Do you think he's the best?
What you watching anything special this weekend?
No, MLB. Bills.
Let's let's hope we're watching the Yankees this weekend, because hopefully they get that win today.
I will be watching the Yankees this weekend. But that's it for today's show, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Shabbat Shalom.